We have this young gentleman. I think he was on one of the local newscasts here a couple of weeks ago, and I happened to see it, and I was amazed because I heard somebody say, here's a black belt karate expert, and I figured at least somebody's going to be 15 or 16 years old, right? Because I know it takes quite a number of years to reach that degree of proficiency. But this young man is, I think, 8 or 9 years old, and he lives here in the valley, I believe in Encino, and
I spoke to his mother, and it's cute. I said that he was happy to be on the show. He said, but who's Johnny Carson? I've never seen him. Wait a minute now.
I'll kill him.
Wait, he's only 9 years old.
What?
You can't stay up that late. He's only
Of course he wouldn't know who I was.
But that's cute. I'll be on the
Which
show.
also makes it he wouldn't know who you are either.
He doesn't know who I am. He knows me from the Clydesdales.
And he doesn't care who
He knows me from the Clydesdales.
No, he thinks you're a Clydesdale.
That's what it is.
His name is Phillip Paley. Would you welcome young Phillip Paley? Now, we're going to drop this microphone down a little bit. I don't care if it even really gets in the picture here because I sit up a little taller. How are you?
Fine.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Now, this outfit, most people wear this when they practice karate, don't they?
Yes.
Is there a name for that, Phillip?
It's called a tobak.
A tobak?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Now, how long have you been studying karate?
Almost 5 years.
Almost 5 years. And you're 9 years old right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Was there any reason you took it up? Why did you decide you wanted to do karate?
Well, one reason is because when I was younger, when I was around 6 years old, kids would pick on me because of my size.
Are you a little small for your normal age?
Yes.
So they picked on you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another thing, it's a great sport.
It's a good sport?
Yes.
So, how did you decide you were going to take up karate? What gave you the idea? Had you seen it before on television, or?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the first reason I just gave to you is because kids picked on me because my size.
Well, you see, when you get older, Phillip, your mind tends to wander. I find it hard to retain, certain things longer than 30 or 40 seconds. It's a little mushy in there. No, I know. You're just kidding me, aren't you? Oh, I shouldn't touch you either, should I? Should never touch anybody who studies karate. So did you go to your mother and ask her if it was all right?
Well, I was driving down Ventura Boulevard, I think it was, and...
You weren't driving yourself, were you?
No, I was with my mother.
Oh, good.
And I saw the karate studio,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, well, if you really want to take it, we'll go home and ask your father. So she went home and asked my father, and then he said it was all right.
Yeah. They weren't worried about you getting hurt or anything?
No.
I guess if you have good instructors, it's a pretty safe sport, isn't it?
Well, we've got the Chuck Norris karate studio has
Mhm.
the best instructors in the country.
Oh.
Great.
And some of the brightest pupils, too. Have you, now, since you've studied almost 5 years, have the kids picked on you anymore? I mean, have you had to use this?
Yes, I had to use it in a couple places.
Yeah. What, I mean, they were teasing you or picking on you or what?
Well, if a person is just calling me names, I don't do anything. It's just when they're trying to hurt me.
They physically try to hit you or
Yes.
something, then you have to use it.
Yes.
Well, I suppose that most of your classmates know that you have a black belt in karate
Mostly
now.
my
don't-
whole school knows it.
So I don't imagine they pick on you too much anymore, do they?
No.
Yeah. Do you know where karate started? Do you know anything about the beginnings of it?
It started in Korea, and 3 monks, they got attacked
Mhm.
by animals and when they were out in their fields.
Uh-huh.
And so they started up and they started copying the animals, like a bear and a cobra. They started to use their hands in different ways. I don't know that or anything, but...
Yeah, but this is what they told you. I mean, the kind of the history.
Mhm.
In other words, certain ways you use your feet and your arms to defend yourself.
Yes.
Now, have you been in competition with other young people?
Yes, I've won trophies in 14 tournaments.
Oh, that's great. Now, what age? And you have to compete against larger boys also?
Well, they said, well, you go against kids your own weight
Oh, I see.
and size, and so when I went into the 7 and 8 when I was just 7, I'd go into the 7 and 8-year-old competition, and they pushed me back to the 5 and 6-year-old.
Because of your weight, huh? What do you weigh now, do you know?
Oh, around 49 pounds. 49 or 50 pounds.
Ed ate that much for lunch. 49. Geez, I think it's really amazing. And your instructor, Chuck Norris, who runs a number of karate schools here in Southern California, will be out in a moment. What do you want to be when you grow up? You know?
Well, I want to be what my father is. He's an ear, nose, and throat doctor and plastic surgeon.
Plastic surgeon? Oh, you can furnish your own customers.
And in my spare time, when I'm not in when I don't have to be a doctor, when I have free time, I'm going to help instruct karate at Chuck Norris Studios.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. You've got your whole life planned for you. But I think that's very nice that you want to be a doctor like your dad. That's a fine occupation. You'd probably be a good one, too. We'll take a commercial here, and then we're going to come back, and we'll ask your instructor to come out, and you can show us some routines, I understand. We could talk with Chuck for a moment, and then could we try something together? If you promise to go easy.
Yes.
Okay. We'll take a break in a moment, and we'll be back right after this message, so stay with us. If you've just tuned us in, we're talking with 9-year-old Phillip Paley. Is Encino your home?
Yes.
I asked if you'd ever seen our show, and you'd never seen the Tonight Show before, have you?
No.
You think you could talk your mom and dad into letting you stay up to see it when it plays?
Well, I'm allowed to stay up, but I just fall asleep before it comes on.
I know the problem. Shall we go over and meet your instructor? Okay, Chuck Norris. Would you welcome him, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh, yeah. We're proud of him.
Turn around here. What do you see out there now? Chuck, is it rather unusual? I assume it must be for a boy to start as young as he does?
Yeah, it's just been the last few years that the youngsters have really started getting involved in karate, mainly because now the people are beginning to realize the benefits for youngsters, you know,
Right.
where a few years ago they thought, well, if a youngster takes karate, he's going to be a bully and so forth. But now they're beginning to realize that it's good for the boys to help enhance their ability mentally and physically to, say, play American sports as well.
And I suppose it gives them a certain measure of confidence, knowing that
Sure.
they have a certain skill in this, even though...
Well, that's the main thing with the kids, is not so much on being able to defend themselves, but the confidence and the security that they develop inside themselves, which is important.
Now, is he going to stay as a student, and will he, of course, progress as he gets older and stronger? And be
Right.
able to...
Well, now his duties now as a junior black belt is to help us with our youngsters, to help develop our other kids his age to develop the same ability that he has. So he helps us with the instructional area, with the junior classes, and he also helps us examine them every 3 months for the test.
That's great.
So he has a big responsibility as a black belt.
Good. Okay, I understand you're going to do some kind of...
A fight routine, and we'll show them what the techniques, the kicking and the hand techniques that Phil has learned to use.
Okay, you all set? Okay.
Okay. It's right over there, Phillip. On the other line, back a little further.
Try this.
Oh, thank you.
That's really quite sensational. I suppose now most people realize that a youngster this size, of course, trying to use this on somebody your size would not be quite fair, but it shows that the moves and the things he can do are tremendous.
Right. The thing, you know, naturally going against an adult would be very difficult for
Right.
a boy his size. But the thing is, that, you know, most times they've been picked on by boys older,
Right.
you know, a few years older than them, and then it would be effective.
Well, he does the moves great.
Oh, he's very good.
Could I
yes.
try something now?
Yeah, you know, the thing is, what's the most common thing? You know, most people relate karate as killing, you know, breaking
Right.
bones and breaking boards. But many times in school ground, I'll come up and grab my lapel and say, I don't like your looks, something like this
They
here.
always grab you right. Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, they do this here, well, then naturally you don't have to strike. We teach them techniques to control. Yeah, why don't you, you're kind of big. Let's say you're a 14-year-old or something like
Okay.
that.
Okay,
Now,
and I come up to Phillip.
yeah, let's say you come up and grab him by the lapel, you know, saying you don't like his
I
looks.
don't like you, kid.
So here, now Phil, you know, if he does the step,
What would you
Phil
do?
striking, he'll just take care of you some other way. Phil, let's see,
right.
what would you do?
Second thought, maybe I'll stand up and do this. I see what you mean.
Right. You
Yeah.
know, or instead of say if the person is as big as you, and say you come up and grab him, say, you know, with one hand by the lapel,
Yeah, I'll be
something
able
like
to
this
try
here.
just
Well,
focusing Suppose I remember when I was a kid. Somebody they'd give you this.
Oh, yeah,
this,
right.
This
Oh,
business.
that's
this
another way,
triangle
too.
hold or a headlock, whatever they call
Okay,
it.
let's say now you're a 14-year-old again.
Okay.
So you get him in a headlock.
And I
Say
come
something
up
like
and
this here,
grab
right?
him in a headlock. What is? What? That certainly opens the nasal passage. Real quick. That is really something. The kicks that they do. I mean, the feet in karate are used almost as much as the arms, are they?
Right,
not?
yeah, they use a lot of feet.
certain
He's a
blows.
tremendous kicker. And
I
you know,
noticed on the running side kick that he did there.
right, and they have a tremendous control, too, a mental control and a confidence in themselves, which we teach them, you know, like when we're working with them, for instance, of having this control of, you know, when most people throw a punch, they'll go like this here, blink their eyes, or turn their head. And we teach them to be able to focus on that and be able to block, but how we practice this here is like Phil will stand facing me straight on from here, and I'll throw a punch without him blinking his eyes. See? See, right here.
Good heavens, and you came within
Yeah.
a half inch of him, and he...
And see, he didn't even blink his eyes.
Philip, you're a remarkable young man. It was a... Pleasure having you here. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you very much.
See you soon. Kind of awful to have to run home and get your dad when an 8-year-old kid is beating you up. It's really remarkable, you know? It's really remarkable. We'll return with more of our show right after this word from General Motors.